on the live. I don't know why I keep on it, but yeah, man. So we back on the live. Sorry about the earlier. Just had some technical difficulties, but we back and we got to get into it today. So primarily what we're going to be talking about is making content for your brand. Typically you're going to have multiple people here with you in the background or in the front as well too. You know what I'm saying? If you are typically making content, especially if you're doing fashion. But, we press for time, and also we're trying to get as much content as possible out today. So definitely, make sure that you like, subscribe. Also make sure that you follow us on our social platforms as well too, so that way you can stay tuned to all of our new releases. And also make sure that you check out our From the Mud collection on our website and the poetry book that is on all books platforms. And also we will be dropping the audio version of the book on all streaming platforms. So definitely stay tuned and tap in. But yeah, so like I said, we're going to be going behind the scenes of making content. Our first focus of the day will be pretty much, making the podcast episodes, because primarily that's our focus right now, is pushing out the Lot of Fashion podcast, because it seems like that's something that you guys actually enjoy watching. And then on top of that, it's free game. It's pretty much everything that you would need in order to help build your business, your brands, etc. So definitely, tap into a Lot of Fashion podcasts on all streaming platforms, and also we do the videography with the web series as well too. So definitely tap into that on YouTube. It's available, and you know what I'm saying. Like I said, it's free game. So first and foremost, like I said, I always like to have everything written down. I also like to have everything on chat GPT, just so that way I can, have all my talking points and segments outlined as far as the topics and ideas that I have as far as each topic for each episode. And it's good to have everything organized, especially using AI nowadays, because it helps you to have more detail to your organization. And also, it helps you to actually come up with a more detailed plan than you would just thinking on your own or trying to do your own research. So that's why I like to use that. So like I said, we're gonna record, 4 episodes. We already recorded, nobody notices your brand at first, or your vision at first. And then we also had stop waiting for the perfect time. Now we're going to go into the power of, personal branding. And then also, building multiple streams without, of income without losing focus. Because that's pretty much what we're doing here, is building multiple streams of income. Like I said, we got the Lot of Fashion podcast. We also got, the poetry being streamed on different platforms. We also have the street fashion available on our website. And, we also got poetry books. So we got the ebook and the actual, print copies that, bring in revenue. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just a process of creating different streams. And then on top of that, the live stream and YouTube. Just keep on building, baby. So that's pretty much what it is when it comes to like building different streams of income. You just gotta find different, streams that all align with your brand and what you're trying to build, the skills and talents that you want to, display amongst, your peers in the world, and just make that shit work. I know a lot of, influencers, they like to actually tell you, focus in on one thing. It's good to focus in on one thing when you first start out. But as you start to build traction, as you start to build the foundation of that one thing, that main thing, then you can start to bridge out into different things and align it with what your brand is doing. So that way people don't get distracted or, confused on what you're putting out. Don't make it a clusterfuck. That's what I did. So, like I said, man, let's get into prepping this episode. As you can see, got the board right here. Just got the mark. Put shades on the good food. For your friends. Yeah, man, we got a lot coming up. We also got, London Fashion Week that we're preparing for. That's why you're starting to see, a lot more content coming out from us. Just because, we're trying to build a solid routine in how we put things out and how you see them, and of course, so that way you guys can see us as well too. Because social media has its blocks as well too. It's not necessarily a shadow ban, but when you put out content, you want everything to be consistent, even in how people watch your, content. That's why they always say you want high quality content, so that way, when you do post it, every time that you do post it, you're at least getting similar results from the last post. So that way, you're constantly gaining traction, you're constantly going to another level of, brand awareness. So definitely, make sure when you do post your content that you post it on time, that, if you have people that you want liking your stuff, or you already have in I guess you could say a group that is liking your stuff, make sure that they like that joint immediately within the first 10 to 15 minutes of you posting, so that way you get pushed out there faster. That's how you really get to start getting in the realm of going viral. It won't be necessarily on that post, but the more that you do that, that's how you get your post to go viral. So, like I said, we're going to start talking about the power of a personal brand. Because you already, if you have a business, you already have a brand. You don't need, well, you do need, but you don't necessarily have to just focus in on the business brand. The personal brand helps amplify, your business, because it starts to build trust amongst the masses. People trust people, you know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. You fall in love with people fast. Sometimes we even fall out of love with people fast too. But that once you gain people's trust and you keep that trust, you'll be immortal. That's how business works. That's why you see people that are considered great ain't not that much different than anybody else. They're just more consistent and better at storytelling. That's the difference. Consistency and storytelling. And then once you got something, let's say it's a physical product that's different than the norm or the generic norm, people will fucking die for it. That's just the world we're in today. like to do is come up with multiple episodes and seasons ahead of time as well too, so that way each episode falls in line with each other, and it's not like I'm talking about a completely different topic on the next episode, and it has no, basis, no foundation of where it's coming from. That's how you can lose, followers as well too, subscribers, because if you're pushing out a message and you're gaining those people, they want to hear more about that information that you're putting out there, especially if you're putting out information, because like I said, in storytelling, it's a story. Those pieces of information that you're putting out has more detail to it. So if you go down a rabbit hole of information and you put it out there in that sense of you finding new pieces of information within that realm, at least in, say like a 5 to 10 episode miniseries or, the whole season, then it gives people a basis not only to watch, receive the information, but also come back and watch and receive more information in detail and all the details that you have from that topic or topics. I even do my collections as far as with my clothes the same way. Like I got 10 years worth of collections, bro. I ain't even put out yet. All the collections that you see me putting out, literally, even from Views of the Trap to the beginning, I literally thought of that in 5 minutes, created the pieces, and then put it out. There was no thought behind it. None of that. Even From the Mud. Like, only thing I thought about with From the Mud was putting out a film series. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even saying I was trying to bite off Drake, but I thought it was a good idea as well too, just so that way y'all would catch more of the storytelling aspect of what we doing, is doing more of a film series aspect and concept to things, just so that way we can get a visual. I ain't even gonna lie, my homie, Lil Monty, he had put me on that same aspect as well too, because he does a lot of visual shit with his music. So, that was like, an eye opener for me, and that's something that, you should definitely do if you're more of a lyricist in your approach. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be, I guess you could say, a whole story. You can find different aspects of putting it out there in a short film. Don't even gotta have words in it. It's just gotta have, visuals that make sense, that align with the story, that, appropriate with each moment. That's all that matters. Like, primarily, what we're doing is just reiterating who we are, just giving more familiarity to our brand for the audience that is, receiving our product, our information. So that way they can, recognize us more often, tap in with our, our brand when they feel the need, and know that they have a community behind them as well as we feel. It's just an aspect of telling the story about the business in different ways over and over again. You don't want to be generic or, redundant with the story. You want to, that's why they say you got to improve yourself, not just your business as well, too. Like, you have to elevate yourself as well. So that way, the people that are looking in, they can see that there's growth, that wherever you started from, there was a positive ending to it, that there was triumph at the end of the story. Because if they can't feel that connection to, like, where you had those hard moments and it may have affected your output, how you thought, how you did things, how you even projected to move on, and you don't have a winning result, or they can't even see a potential winning result, then best believe you're not going to want to be a part of what you're doing. And you got to put that out there. Like, you can't expect them just to visually or create in their imagination that they will see a winning result. You got to create it for them at this point nowadays. Like, back in the day, it was probably more easier to create imagination than now. Now people want proof. That's why you see broke niggas with fucking 80, 100K value chains, jewelry. But at the end of the day, that shit really a loan or a promo for the maker. And he just got them wearing that shit. And they got it on lease or loan. And y'all thinking they up, they really down. Had much or more. Like, everything is about levels and positioning in this world. Like, even us, we're at the bottom. But with the moves that we're getting ready to make, we're at the top. We're going to be right at the top with the rest of them pretty soon. Best believe. In a short span, y'all don't think that shit happened overnight. It's just the ones that's already been watching gonna be like, damn, he was right. Like, I'm putting everything into this, best believe, bro. Like, I got people to feed. For real, though. People depending on me. Show up every fucking day. Because I don't just do it for myself. I'm trying to create something to where other creators can build through. To where we can actually have the same exposure as the motherfuckers that's getting fucked in the butt on a daily basis. And motherfuckers can work with me and don't gotta do that shit. Trying to create a atmosphere where people not getting fucked by the industry. They able to actually create something sustainable for not only themselves, but their families as well too. Long term wins, you feel me? empires being built, like of old, but in a new way. Yeah, man, we almost done writing down these notes for this episode of The Power of a Personal Brand. Actually, gonna get off of this live and get to recording these episodes real quick. I appreciate everyone that's tapped in. I appreciate those that have subscribed to the channel as well too. Definitely helps us to continue to grow and put out the content that y'all need in order to continue to grow as well. So, like I said, make sure that you like, share, or content with your friends and family. Make sure that you continuously tap in with what we got going on. Follow us on our social media platforms so that way you can stay up to date on new releases and more. And keep visualizing your purpose. I'm out.